Hey everybody, what's up? This is RDH Davis, and today I'm going to be talking about The Umbrella Academy Season 3. In the first beginning of my video, I'm going to be talking about no spoilers, just going to be talking about how good the show is, or if it's a bad show. And then after that, after I'm done talking about all that, I'm going to go straight to spoilers. So I'll give you a warning to let you know when not to continue watching it for those of you who are big fans of The Umbrella Academy. That way, in case you haven't watched it, you should stop right there and then go watch the show. But if you've already seen it, you're more than welcome to stay and listen to what I have to hear. I already have my notebook out where I wrote down my notes. Here we go. This is the non-spoiler part. So, this is what I think. Is The Umbrella Academy Season 3 a good season? Now, I know they had to push it on, they had to be on delay. They had to stop, they had to postpone the production and everything because of COVID and the pandemic that was going on. All of Netflix shows had to be stopped. They had to be put on hold. They had to push back the due dates. All that good stuff. They had to stop. So I think it's been like 2-3 years. No, 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. I think 2 years since season 2 came out. And I really liked season 2 a lot. I thought it was really fantastic. Season 3 is still fun to watch. I don't think it's as strong as season 1 and 2, but it's still enjoyable to watch. Why? Well, here's my reasons why. I think, in my opinion, in the beginning, well, when I started watching the first episode, I couldn't help but to notice that, well, ever since episode 1 and throughout the season, the graphics in the beginning were not that good. And I was like, oh boy, this looks pretty, it's pretty obvious. Some of the effects and the graphics in this season are pretty noticeable that you can tell they were not that good. And it made me think, were the graphics that bad in the first 2 seasons? I don't think so. I don't think it was that bad. But this one you can tell. It was very noticeable for me. But I think later on, towards the end, I think the graphics started getting better. I don't know if it was just me. Maybe I was already getting used to the graphics. But I did notice that the graphics started to look a little better towards the end. But besides the graphics that it looked bad, I thought what really made up for it was the story itself. I thought the story was very interesting for me, that it just kept keeping me interested in the show, to keep watching. The reason for that is because in every ending of each episode left me wanting to see more, and I wanted to find out what was going on. In the beginning, it's slow pace, I will say. There are some fun stuff that happens in the beginning, since the very beginning of the season, but then it starts getting very interesting and very exciting towards the end. But then at the end, I don't know. I just have to let you guys see that for yourself, those of you who have not yet seen the season. And if you're interested in seeing what I thought about it, if it's a good show to watch. I think it's definitely a good show to watch for those of you who are big fans of the franchise. If it's your first time watching it, I wouldn't recommend it. I would watch the first 2 seasons first and then see if you really like the whole series, then watch season 3. I think season 3 is for people who are like still strong fans of the series, and I thought it was pretty good. I still enjoyed it, but it also, the humor in the show, like Klaus and other characters in the show, they also, make up for the bad graphics. I think the graphics were the only downfall of this season, but the story itself and the lovable characters, the humor in the show just keeps you in the show, keeps you interested. There's not that much fighting. I did notice that. Now that I think about it, there's not that much fighting. There's not that much action like the way it was in the first 2 seasons. I think this one, that's also one of the downfalls. But there is some action, but it's not as much as the first 2, like I said. But what makes up for it is the story. And there's a lot of emotion in this season. There's a lot of intense moments, and it does get you, I don't know, for those of you who have watched the first 2 seasons, I think you're going to see a lot of these characters take different turns, some character developments, some for the good and some for the bad. I won't say though, because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. But it's very interesting where the story takes these characters, and I really hope they continue. I really hope they continue with the series. But that's pretty much it. I think that's all I could say for now. If it's worth watching, I think, like I said, you should give it a shot. I think you'll enjoy yourselves. But if you're looking for action and some good graphics, you're gonna notice it. But if you like the humor that these characters bring and the music that they have, and if the story, I think it starts picking up in episode 3. I think episode 3 is what or episode 2. I think it's episode 2. Either episode 2 or 3 is when the story picks up, and then after that, that's when it starts getting more interesting, and you're like so intrigued, and you're invested in seeing like what's going to happen with these characters, what's going to happen to the world and everything, or what's going to happen next. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I could say for right now, for a non-spoiler review for this half of my video. And so I'm now about to talk about the spoilers. So for those of you who have not yet seen the season and don't want to get any spoilers or anything, I strongly recommend that you stop watching unless you don't mind. And if you've already seen the season, if you want to hear my thoughts about it, you're more than welcome to stay. All right, so here we go. You've been warned. So spoilers. Let's talk about the Umbrella Academy characters. Now let's talk about Luther. I was very happy that Luther found, someone else to make him happy. And it was, what's her name? Salone. I thought they made a cute couple. At first, I wasn't too sure because I was really hoping that him and Allison would, get back together or something. But I guess after season 2, when Allison moved on and she met someone else, I think it was time for Luther in this season to move on as well. And I think meeting this girl helped them do that. Although I do feel like it was very short. Not short, but I felt like their relationship grew so fast. I felt like it moved so fast. But then I thought maybe it's one of those relationships where you feel this is right, and you feel like if this is the right person I need to be with, then why not? I mean, sometimes you just feel like maybe it's just meant to be. It just happens for some people. Some people, they meet, and all of a sudden they end up being in a relationship, and it just turns out being in a wonderful relationship. It may move fast and it may work out. You never know. That's the risk you have to take. Sometimes, it's like they say, the quicker you move in a relationship, the faster it's going to fall. But I guess it just works differently with a lot of people, and people's relationship work out differently. But I was very happy that he met someone. I was very shocked that he got killed by his own dad. And that one part, I really was shocked. And, I kind of was tearing up because, I was so happy that he found someone, and all of a sudden he just gets killed, especially when he starts trusting his dad and welcoming him. But then when the dad betrays him, I was just like, son of a bitch, man. That got me, I was shocked, and it got me very upset of the dad because I really thought the dad was different in this universe. But then it turns out that he was just the same as he always is in the other universes. It's the same asshole, selfish prick. And we'll get to his character later, but yeah, I don't know. Luther is just so silly, and I think the actor, when he played Albert Wesker in Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, and I saw him in this show, I was like, maybe he just meant to play goofy roles, because when I saw him as Wesker, he still played like sort of a goofy role. I wish they could have challenged him to say like, we want to see you play a serious role, we want to see you play Albert Wesker. But I think like I don't know. They need to challenge him. I want him to challenge himself to play something different, not just a goofy character. I don't want it to be like that's his career, that he just meant to play goofy characters. I think, in my opinion, as an actor, you need to challenge yourself to play different roles. A bad villain, a weak person, a strong person, a silly person, different roles. So that's my thoughts about Luther. Now, Diego, number 2, Diego. I thought it was so cool. I don't know. When Layla came in and she introduced Diego to his son, and I was all like, oh, wow, now Diego's going to have to babysit. Now he's going to have a child to take care of throughout this whole season. And so it was interesting to seeing him trying to get away with his son. I don't know. I think it was so interesting to see how he would be as a dad. In the beginning, he was terrible. He was always trying to get away with his son, trying to get rid of him. Poor kid. But he was also annoying. But then later on, when they started bonding more, I think they started to bond more when his son, what's his name? Stanley, accidentally killed his uncle, Klaus. Oh, that pissed me off, by the way. I don't know. Did that part piss a lot of you off? I was so mad because I was like this. I was like, I felt bad for the kid. Even though he was annoying and everything, I was like, I felt bad for the kid. And then when he was bonding with Klaus, I was like, that's cool. He's just a misunderstood kid. But then when he shot that hook at Klaus and killed him, I was like, pinche pendejo. I was like, that freaking moron, man. I was like, yeah, that's when it killed it for me. But then when Layla lied to him and told him that wasn't really his son, I felt bad for Diego. But it did show that Diego is capable of being a good dad. And I thought that was so funny. Also, let me get back to the part where he thought his son actually killed Klaus. He did. He's like, listen, I'm gonna help you through this. We're gonna get rid of the body and everything. Like, tú es mi sangre. And I was like, that is such a Hispanic thing to say. Like, that's so true because we always say that because I'm also Hispanic. And it's so funny when they say, like, they'll do anything for their child. And then when they say, tú es mi sangre and everything, I was like, that's so funny. And then he's like, I don't speak Spanish. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm just going to take care of you. Okay, just don't worry about it. I thought that was so funny. My God. But when he killed Klaus, I was like, that better be a lesson for you, kid, because if you're gonna make me like you're gonna have to make up for that shit and stop touching things, stop playing with things that are dangerous. Because he was so annoying in this season. And like I said, part of me felt sorry for him, but he needed to stop. He set the little thing on fire in the hotel. He kept meddling into situations when there was a fight. And then when he killed Klaus, I was like, all right, that's it. I don't pity him anymore. And then it was cool that Diego finally was able to hook up, start a relationship with Layla. She was able to let her guard down and everything, and accept that he really does love her. And I thought it was like I think they make a cute couple. I think they're meant to be, definitely meant to be, because they're both crazy. I think they're both capable of balancing each other out. So I think that's cool. I think they make a cute couple. So let's talk about the one character that took a turn for the worse, man. Allison. Number 3, Allison. Poor Allison, man. Like, I felt bad for her when she couldn't get back to her daughter. And when she had to leave behind, her husband that she was with in the other world, the other timeline. And he ended up dying, right? Just seeing her take a turn for the worse was so disappointing for me, because I've always liked Allison. I liked her ever since season 1. I loved her even more in season 2. But season 3, I was just starting to not like her anymore, just because of like the direction that she was going through. I mean, I understand things like that with depression, anger, and stuff that she was going through. I understand that this is why that she's becoming this way. She just doesn't know how to deal with it, with her anger, her emotions. And I think Victor lying to her about what's his name? I forgot his name. The boy who grew up to be this old man that she wanted to protect from the Sparrow Academy and from her family because of what he did to their mothers. The old man with the superpowers. I think when Victor broke Allison's trust, I think that just completely pushed her to become just kind of like a villain. She was acting like a villain in this one. She just didn't care anymore. She was not going to take any more crap. She even says it herself, that she was always trying to be understanding. She was always a nice one. And I think when Diego also went to take her to go fight at a bar to release her anger, I don't think that also helped her. I think it helped to unleash a monster from Allison to now where she feels comfortable that now she could just beat anyone up and just let her frustration out, but just totally the wrong way. And I think Diego, he tried to help her. He thought maybe this was, it helped me through this situation. Maybe it could help her. Sometimes these things just work differently with different people. I know sometimes people think, hey, I started drinking. I know you're going through a rough time, but when I started drinking, it helped me. Why don't you start drinking too? That sometimes does not help. I mean, that's just you, right? Sometimes encouraging someone else to drink may not be a good idea, because once they start drinking, they don't know how to control themselves. So I always say, if you're going to recommend something to someone, I strongly would keep my mouth shut and just listen to their pain, and don't recommend anything like drugs or something that you used to do and you thought, oh, it helped me out, maybe it's going to help you. If you know it was not a good idea for you, I would strongly wouldn't recommend it for your other friend. I think just be there for them, support them, but that's it. Because you never know what could happen to them. Sometimes it's going to, like I said, it's going to work out differently. And for example, with Allison, I think it just kept on making things worse for her. Especially when she had that fight with Victor. Oh my God, that's when the Allison that we knew was gone. Allison reminded me of so much of Wanda from Doctor Strange too. Wanda was willing to do whatever it takes to get back to her children or get her children back. Allison was also going to do whatever it takes to get to whatever she wanted. And she did. She made a deal with her dad towards the last couple of episodes. Moms will do anything for their loved ones. And this is Wanda and then Allison are good examples of that. It's true. You never mess with a mother's cub. Don't ever do that. And when she found out about when the old man was all like, I kind of know why you don't like me. And she's like, what are you talking about? Oh, didn't Victor tell you? I was like, oh, you idiot. Oh, I knew things were going to go bad. But I didn't think she was going to kill him. I thought she was going to turn him into the sparrows, but she killed him. That's when I knew, oh, she's turned to the dark side. Especially when she was, who was it? Faye, when they were going to have their family meeting, and Allison was there in the living room, and she's like, make yourselves at home. Faye says that, right? The woman with the glasses. She's like, make yourselves at home. And you hear Allison, bitch, this is our home. She's like, excuse me? And then they're like, oh, the cookies are just delicious. I don't know what they said, but it was just so funny. But I was so disappointed at where the direction that Allison was going. Although she was becoming very powerful, they're like, wow, you don't have to say, I heard a rumor anymore. Now you just say it. And now I think, yeah, she was becoming more powerful. My friend, Franco, hey Franco, if you're watching this video, I think some other people will agree with my friend Franco that they don't like Allison because they felt like she's the weak one, that she doesn't fight that much and everything. But I felt this one was pushing her in that direction, that now she's learning how to fight and now she's becoming stronger. And I think that's very dangerous. I think, because I've always said, I think if you think about it, I've always said it ever since season 1. I'm like, if you think about it, Allison could be very powerful. She can manipulate anyone to do whatever she wants them to do. I mean, think about it. She can even make Vanya do whatever she wants if she wanted to. A lot of these characters are very powerful than they may appear. So don't underestimate Allison. I think she's kind of like Wanda, or she's kind of like the Phoenix. If you're not very careful with her, she can be very powerful and just cause a lot of damage. So yeah, that's what I thought about Allison. Poor thing. I don't know if they're going to make a season 4. I don't know what's going to happen, because I really felt like the world that they're living in now is just fake. Or maybe it's not. But if they're going to get out of it to get their powers back or whatever, I mean, there obviously has to be a season 4. I mean, the way it ended, there's just so many unanswered questions. The way they ended, well, we'll get to that. But if they're going to try to break out of that universe or that timeline or whatever dimension they're at now, I don't think that's going to work well with Allison, because she has what she wants now. She has her child, she has their husband, and I don't think she's going to want to let that go again. Not again. But I just hope they can get to her like, this isn't real. This isn't what you want. Especially, I'm so sorry, there's just so much to talk about Allison. I felt like she's the highlight of the show because, okay, so what I'm going to talk about is when Luther came to comfort her, that one part, you guys know what I'm talking about. When Allison came to talk to Luther, and she thought, she could, rekindle what she and Luther had. But Luther's like, no, I moved on. You have to let me go. And then she's like, oh, what, with that floozy that you just met for 2 days? You're going to leave? You're going to dump me for her? And then she starts using her powers against him to stay. And I heard a rumor that you wanted me. I was like, no, Allison, don't do that. Because, forcing people to fall in love with you is just not real. And then her doing that was just very dangerous. And I think it was just hurting her even more. And I think that also pushed Luther even farther away from her. Poor Allison, man. I don't know what's going to happen in season 4. If they do a season 4, because it's not confirmed yet. But let's see. I hope this season does well. So anyways, moving on. Next character, Klaus. Oh my god, it's already 21 minutes. Klaus, let's try to move this. Klaus was also very interesting. I thought there was a very good character development with him. And now he was able to get a lot of practice with his dad. By the way, I like that the scenes where he was bonding with his dad. I think he always steals the show with him being so funny. I think the actor does a terrific job playing as Klaus. He always steals the show. Always lighten up the mood. That's what I'm talking about. I think he's the humor of the show. And he's just so amazing. He's just so funny. But his character changed a lot too. I think he grew to become stronger, especially when he became immortal. His bonding with his dad, him practicing how to come back to life and heal. I thought that, wow, that was a big step for him to become a very powerful superhero, you know. And I'm glad they covered that, because I even forgot that the dad even said, "You have so much potential, and you throw it away by why? By drugging yourself, by doing this." But it's like Klaus said, "Well, that's because you traumatized me when I was little. You locked me in a closet or whatever. No, not in a closet, but you locked me in a room full of dead people, and that traumatized me. How do you think that made me feel?" So I thought, well, yeah. But this dad that I thought was really a good dad really helped him to improve, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And especially, I also like the part where Klaus, when they started to bond together, when Klaus sees his dad and asks him, well, he noticed that the Sparrow kids are drugging their dad, and he's all like, "Oh, let me show you how to do it. I know how to, I've done this before. You want to pretend that you're taking drugs, just hide them in the side of the mouth and everything. Like, that's fascinating and everything." And I like when the dad's all like, "I never liked you when I first met you, but now I appreciate you." And I was like, oh, that was like a big first step. I don't know. The dad is so confusing. There were many parts that I liked the dad in this one, but then towards the end, I just hated the dad. He lost my respect. But yeah, I thought Klaus was also very good. Now moving on, number five. Number five was also good. He's so handsome. He's growing up to be a very handsome young man. I like his hair and everything. I don't think he did much in this season, but when he went off with Layla to the commission and everything was destroyed, I was just like, by the way, I wonder what's going to happen with the commission now that that's destroyed. And now they're living in this new world. But anyways, he still was pretty good. I think that he's a terrific actor, the actor who plays Five. That's it. There's not much to talk about Five. That's it. That's it. I'm sorry. There's not, unless there was something else that you guys can bring up, I could always talk to you in the comments. So if you want to say something about Five that you like, please do, because I can't think of anything right now. I don't think Five did that much. I did like that Five was still suspicious of his dad, because he's all like, no. Just the way he is, do you really think Dad would be that nice and everything? Although I did like when he got drunk and then he was giving a speech to Luther on his wedding day. I thought that was so nice. You get to see him in his nice side. And when he did the karaoke, there you go. When they all did the karaoke, that was so funny. You get to see him sing with Klaus. That was so fun. That was one of the best moments, the highlights of this show. And now Victor. Let's talk about Victor, also known as Vanya. Well, in the beginning, we still had Vanya, right? But I did like how they transitioned that into when he becomes Victor. When he started to see, like, this isn't who I am. And I know, I just want to say something really quick. There's just so many assholes out there, you bullies. You know who if you're watching this, you're such assholes. I'm sorry. And the reason why I'm saying that is because every time there's an article about Elliot Page and his character in this season, people just like to laugh at him and say jokes like, "That's still a woman." Like, you guys are such insensitive bastards. I'm sorry, because it's like, that's because you don't understand. You need to really educate yourselves before you could open your stupid mouths. Like, you really don't know anything about what these people go through. Some people, I don't even have to explain myself, because it's like trying to explain something to an idiot that will not listen to reason, that will not listen to, who are willing to listen and understand. And that's such a shame, because you're going to keep living in these narrow-minded lives and not get educated for these things, because God forbid one of your loved ones or your children is going to feel like Elliot Page. And then what are you going to do in that moment? Are you going to stop them from being who they want to be? Are you going to, your children are going to have to do what they feel is best for them. They want to be happy. They got to do what's best for them, not what's best for you. Elliot Page is happy, and I'm happy for Elliot Page that he's now feeling comfortable. And I liked how they worked with his character in this season, where now she became a boy, where she feels comfortable, where she feels like, I think I've always been a boy, a man. And my favorite part is when she came to her family and they noticed that, "I love your hair and everything." And he's like, I'm so sorry. There were so many moments I was like, she, but no, it's not she anymore. It's not Ellen Page. He's now Elliot Page, where he says, "It's Victor." And, it's he. And they're like, "Victor? Who the hell's Victor?" It's like, "It's me. Does anyone else have a problem with it?" And they're like, no. And I felt like if only the world was like that. Like, when you have to come out of the closet You want to tell your family like I'm gay, or I don't feel comfortable, I don't think I was born this way, I don't feel happy being this way, I think I was meant to be something else. People are not going to understand it, but if only they could accept it like the way they did. Like, they might, maybe some of them did not understand, but it's like, you know what, as long as that person's happy, thumbs up. What does that have to do with you guys? It's like, oh, I don't understand that. That's too stupid. I don't like. That's because you don't understand at all. People need to learn how to respect other people, not just be assholes so they can make themselves feel better. Because that's what it obviously looks like when I see that kind of shit. It's so, the world is just so much full of bullies. The internet's so full of bullies. And this is my message to those of you who are worried about those kinds of people who are going to judge you and everything. Don't worry about them. Don't waste your time worrying about what others are going to think about you. You got to focus on yourself. You got to focus on what makes you happy. In reality, people are going to say mean shit. They're going to say mean things. But you know what? That's just what they think. What matters is what you think. What matters is how you feel. What matters is like what you want to do that makes you happy. That's all that freaking matters. And the people who accept you and love you, that's who fucking matters as well. Do not listen to them, because I know it's a struggle and sometimes you feel like you're not wanted and everything, but don't listen to those types of people. They just don't understand. They're not educated, and you don't have to prove yourselves or educate them. That's not your job. Your job is to focus on yourself. That is it. Don't worry about those idiots. Let them be lost in their own world. Let them deal with their own problems, because you're not their problem. You're not. They have to deal with their own problems and like trying to understand that shit. And you know what? They'll probably live the rest of their lives never understanding it, but that's on them. That's a shame for them. But anyways, I just hope that helps for a lot of you who are watching this video, who are watching it up to now. It's like, what, 30 minutes. I hope that helps, encourages you to just don't worry about them. Don't. I have friends that are like that they worry about what others would think, and I'm just like, who gives a fuck? I'm sorry, excuse my language, but like, who gives a fuck? I remember I used to grow up thinking, well, what are these people going to think about me? And it didn't click on me until later on, as you mature, you're like, I don't have to impress anybody. I don't have to have people accept me. I don't have to have everyone accept me, because the truth is, not everyone's going to accept us. Not everyone's going to accept you. You just gotta like live your life, and that's all that matters. And stay clear from those people. Cut off the negative people, and when you do that, you'll be totally fucking happy. You won't believe how happy you will be. Trust me. Do it. But anyways, back to Victor. I really liked Elliot Page's performance. Was phenomenal. There were times when I felt like, is Elliot Page okay? Because there were times where he looked kind of sick. I was like, maybe he needs more time, because I think he just went through the procedure. But other than that, just like besides of how he looked, I think he still was able to deliver fantastic performances. Just a terrific job. I was like, I loved you as Vanya. I love you even more as Victor. And I'm pretty sure Elliot Page inspires me to like, hey, look at me, I'm happy now, and I'm still acting, I'm still doing the things I love, and it's like, you know what, good for you, man, good for you, and I'm happy for you and everything, and you did a terrific job. I think Elliot Page, Victor, one of the highlights of the show, because there was also some good character development with that character. Him making sure that his family accepts him, but he was, he didn't have to worry about that, because the family was so very welcoming. And Luther was all like, how do we do it? And then like Diego's like, just don't make it weird, man. Just go with the flow. And I'm like, yeah, man, just go with the flow. That's all you really gotta do. Although I do wish like one of the family members would have been like, it would have been interesting to see one of the characters, maybe Diego. Look, I don't understand. Why does Vanya have to go through this change? Why Victor? What's this thing? And then someone like maybe Five or Allison could be like, well, this is the thing you don't understand. You know what I mean? Have a character, one of the family members be the characters that those idiots out there don't understand. And that way, one of these characters, that one of the other family members, helps the other one to understand, this is our brother now, and this is how our brother feels, and this is how our brother feels it was always meant to be. As long as he's happy, that's all that matters. We're still going to love them. And I like how Allison gave him that speech too, like, no matter what, I'm still going to love you. And I'm like, oh, but then everything went downhill ever since Victor lied to Allison. Oh my God. That fight between them was so bad. Great job to Victor. We love you. Good job, Elliot Page. And now, Layla. Layla was also funny. She says a lot of funny shit. She cusses a lot. She says a lot of funny lines. I just She's so crazy too when she lied to Diego. Back to Diego and her. When she lied to Diego that wasn't their son, I was like, wow, what a slap in the face for Diego, man. He really thought that was his son and he was bonding with his son. To find out that really wasn't him, I thought that was such a low blow on her. That was like, wow, such a punch in the stomach. But then, she's like, no, I was just like nervous, keeping you from the truth that I really am pregnant and everything. I'm just like, oh my god. But they make a cute couple. Layla was also cool in the show. They were all wonderful. Last Stanley. I know he's not part of the Umbrella Academy, but he's part of the family, sort of. But poor Stanley, he had to die. But I think it was necessary because he was so annoying. He was just so annoying, especially like I said when he killed Klaus. I totally lost all respect for him. I thought Diego was gonna do worse things than what he did, but he's all like, no, tú eres mi sangre, and I'm gonna help you through this or whatever. I was just like, oh my god, this is crazy. But yeah, that's all the family members from the Umbrella Academy. Now let's talk about the Sparrow Academy. So number 1, Marcus. It was such a shame that Marcus had such a short time in this season. He had very little screen time, and I was just like, wow, poor Marcus. Very handsome man and everything, but I wish we could have seen more, honestly. But oh well. That's all I can say. There's not much to say about him, but I think he just had super strength, right? He just had a lot of super strength and everything. But I don't know. I just hope his career will continue to grow, because usually something like that, when you don't have that much screen time, and I don't think he was given enough a chance to deliver performances. Not really, but that's pretty much it. Poor guy. But oh well. I hope he comes on another shows where he has a moment to shine or do more. But anyways, number 2, Ben. Speaking of, he was a highlight, but such a negative one. Ben in this season was such an asshole. I hated him. The way he was with his family, with his own family, and then with the Umbrella Academy, he was such an asshole. Always selfish, and he was always trying to win approval from Dad. It kind of reminded me of like Luther, when he was also trying to win Dad's approval as well. But I think there's an example of how Luther would have been if he would have kept trying to impress his dad. But Ben, man, he was very lovable ever since season 2. Yeah, in the first 2 seasons. But season 2, I loved him even more. But this one, props to the actor for doing such a good job playing such an asshole for this character. But throughout this whole season, I was like, I thought in the wedding day he was going to make me like him because he was starting to let his guard down. But then when the alcohol went away, the asshole was starting to come back. And then he was being such a lazy dick when they were having the fights against the Guardians. In the last episode, he was just sitting there or standing there watching his teammates fight against the Guardians, and then finally when he fights, I was like, but it wasn't enough for him to redeem himself for me to like him. I don't know what's gonna happen in the 4th season. I mean, he really has to like do something very, I don't know, something that's gonna make me like him. He has to do something to redeem himself to make me like him, because he was such an asshole. And that end credit scene, I don't know what's gonna happen there. I really don't understand what was happening there. But for those of you who are familiar, who know about the comics or have any idea what's going to happen there, please share your thoughts, because I have no clue. I'll probably take a look at that in some other videos, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of videos that says Umbrella Academy season 3 ending. Explain. Explain. There's always videos now about like, oh, so-and-so, explain. Oh, explain. They always have to explain it because, sometimes we don't get it. Like, I don't get it. So I'll be watching those videos. Now, number 3 from the Sparrow Academy, Faye. I liked Faye, and I'm glad she had a lot of screen time. I really liked her. She was one of my favorites from the Sparrow Academy, especially with her sunglasses. There were so many moments that she ran in. She kind of looked like she was from the Matrix. her costumes were also more, they stood out more than the other family members' outfits, but her costumes were fantastic. Her glasses were fantastic, her hair and everything, her performance. I'm like, who is this actress? She's so pretty. I wonder if she's come on other shows, but I liked her voice, her performance, her ability to control the crows and merge with the crows or summon crows from her back was really cool. And how she was able to use the crow's eyes to help her see through. I was like, that's pretty cool. I really didn't want her to die because I really liked her costumes. I thought she really stood out more. And yeah, she was just one of my favorites. I think she's like my most favorite from the Sparrow Academy. Good job to that actress. I hope to see you more. So let's talk about now number 4, Alfonso, right? Yeah. Poor guy. I was all like, why? What's up? What's wrong with his face? I hope they explain that. But then when if they were to punch him, they would feel the same pain they did. So it's kind of like, oh, he was countering back at them. He felt no pain or anything. However, I really don't understand his powers ever since when Diego fought him again at the store at the what was it? Was it a grocery store? No, it was just some kind of store. When they fought him again when they had a rematch, he was still able to do some damage to him or hurt him. But I was like, wait a minute, I thought like no matter what you do to Alfonso, whatever attack you do, it just goes back right at you. He feels no pain because you're hurting yourself. So I don't think they clearly explained how his powers worked. So that part got me like so confused of how his powers worked. But I thought it was pretty interesting because I thought like, wow, he seems unstoppable. Because how are you going to take on someone that just feels no pain unless you're going to have to make him, I don't know, punch himself or something. I thought that's what made him interesting because me trying to figure out like how am I going to deal with an opponent like that? What's his weakness, you know? But then when, like I said, when Diego was able to still do some damage to him, I don't know. That just threw me out the window. And now, number 5, Salone, the one that Luther falls in love with. I thought she was a very cute character. I could have sworn that this actress who played her was the same actress who played Chrissy in Stranger Things season 4, because they did sound alike. They kind of looked alike, but I was like, maybe it's different actresses. But she played a very cute character, and I thought, you know what? She is a lot like Luther, and I could see why they make a cute couple. But I don't know. Is it too good to be true? Because she's never fallen in love with someone else. Luther was her first crush. Luther is her first love. You know how it happens, like when you don't have much experience, when you don't meet other people to know what you really want, sometimes that could be a downfall. But I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe for these, because everybody's different. Maybe Luther and her are meant to be. But who knows? If they do a season 4, who knows how that's going to go? Because they always have to do something different with these characters. But if that happens, I don't know what's going to happen there. But she was a very good, cool actress. I thought her powers was pretty cool too. Especially when they were in the basement and they were going to try to close up that black hole. And Vanya and Layla were teaming up together and then Christopher were all teaming up together to close it. I thought that part was pretty cool. I liked it when she was like floating in the air. But what I didn't get, I have to say this, when she snuck Luther in to her room down the alleyway, and then after they were done having sex, she let him out on the front door. I'm like, why don't you just let him down the way you brought him up down the alleyway, so that way they won't make it obvious? Why do you have to let him out of the front door? I guess to be polite, but still, I couldn't help but to notice that. I was like, why don't you just let him go down the alleyway like you brought him up to your room? So it was weird. So yeah. Anyways, Jamie, she didn't have that much moment to shine. There's not much to talk about her. I mean, she had a lot of cool moves, but it was just not enough for me to, I don't know, she didn't do anything to make major highlights. What was gross when she would spit out that venom from her mouth and she would make people hallucinate. I was all like, oh damn, when she spit that stuff on Diego and then he hallucinated that badass dance sequence of Footloose. I thought that was like, oh, that's a very interesting ability too. So is she a snake? But then she died. Her and Alfonso died. The way they died was horrible. I was like, oh wow, that's it for them. Shoot. But I mean, it wasn't as bad as Marcus. I felt like poor guy didn't even get a chance to have a major highlight. Alfonso and Jamie, not so much either. I mean, they had a couple of more screen times at least. A couple of episodes in this season. But then that was it. When they died, they died. And then Christopher. I thought like Christopher was such a missed opportunity. I wanted to see how powerful he was, or it was. But not much was said too with Christopher. I thought like some of the family members from the Sparrow Academy was caught off too soon, or they were not explained too much. I wish I would have got to know more about these Sparrow Academy members. But that was it. I felt like they didn't have enough screen time, but I guess it is what it is. It was okay though, because I still enjoyed the show, but I wish we could have seen more about the family members from the Sparrow Academy, and especially Christopher, because I was like, oh wow, a box. Never underestimate a box. I mean, he may look like a cube, but maybe he may. I thought he was gonna be like Vanya, very powerful, very don't underestimate him, but not so powerful. I mean, he was able to keep that black hole closed, but it just sucks that one little ripple or touch, if he were to bump into something, he was not going to be able to keep that black hole closed up. I know they have a different name for the black hole. I know a lot of you in the comments are like, no, that's not what the black hole is called. I'm calling it the black hole, okay? Because I don't remember what it was. But I appreciate you correcting me. Thank you. And now let's talk about the dad. Renegald Hargreaves. Dad Hargreaves. Papa. From Stranger Things. But no. I really thought in this season he was a good dad. I really thought he was a different version of the other dads they've met in the past. But then at the end, I was dead wrong. The moment he killed Luther, totally out the window. I was all like, that son of a bitch, man. He's still the selfish asshole dad. I just don't get his game, though. So, okay, after watching season 3, do you mean to tell me, this is my theory, this is what I've gotten from this season, that the dad, his character, you mean to tell me that this whole time, because this is how I took it, I thought the dad took in these children because he saw something that was going to happen to the planet, that he had to raise them and prepare them for the worst. But it felt like it was all for just a selfish thing to bring back his dead wife, right? I think so. Otherwise, why would he was so invested in helping Klaus? You know what I mean? It was all just the whole thing. If you think about it, this whole thing was just a selfish act for him to bring back his wife. It was all for his wife. And I'm like, that's so crazy. I really thought it was really more to it than just that. But no, it was all just for the wife. Because when they were powering up the ship at the end, and their powers were being sucked out, and he said, no, I need their powers to give power to the ship. I was all like, are you kidding me? So then you've been just raising these as like guinea pigs, as like just for this moment, not for saving the world, maybe to save the world, but I don't know, that's how I took it now. That's how I'm taking it, that it was all just for his dead wife. It was crazy. But I mean, maybe it was not his intention. Maybe now we're saying like maybe his main goal was to bring back his dead wife. But now it seems like maybe there's more to it. How can I explain this? We now see that now what he doesn't know is that not only did he raise these children to become superheroes and everything, not just to power up his machine, but what he doesn't know, that he also raised them so that they're also capable of saving the world. They've already done it kind of 3 times. The ending of this season, I'm not too sure what the hell happened. I mean, they kind of saved it, but at the same time they didn't. You get me? Just the way that it ended, we'll talk about the ending in a bit. I was liking, although let's talk about the highlights. Let's talk about the good things. That was the bad things that I didn't like, that he just became an asshole. He was always a selfish prick this whole time. But what I did like was when Klaus was bonding with him in his room. They were watching TV and Klaus was teaching him how to pretend to take medicine. And when he took Klaus to go do some more training of how he could come back from the dead and become immortal, I liked those moments. I thought, well, we're seeing a good version of the dad, especially when he came to the wedding and when he kept asking Klaus, how do I become a better dad? And Klaus was there to help him to become a good dad. But then he was just using Klaus just to get, his family to welcome him in and just use him at the end. Slap in the face for Klaus, poor Klaus. But that was like the good things I liked before I found out the truth. Oh my God, it's already going to be an hour of this talking. So sorry, guys. We're almost done. Now we're just going to... the last topic. It's the highlights. Let's talk about the highlights that I liked about this film. This season. Well, number 1 was the fight dance scene in episode 1. When I really thought they were going to fight in the very beginning when they were going to fight each other. And then all of a sudden the music of Footloose... it was Marcus that starts dancing. And then Luther starts dancing and they're like, what the hell are you doing? And then they all start dancing. I was like, what the heck is this? It was just... I loved it. At first I was like, is this even necessary? But then I was like, I like it. I like how they're all having fun. They were all just having fun. Speaking of which, I think a lot of good scenes was when they were all dancing with each other. When they were seeing the scenes when they were all celebrating and having a good time with each other at the wedding, when they thought they were able to stop the black hole and they were all just dancing around each other. I'm pretty sure the actors and the actresses had a good time just having fun in those scenes. They were all just dancing, having fun, letting loose. I thought that was really nice. I really liked those moments. But Footloose was my favorite. I thought that was like a nice intro for the first episode. But then after that, when the fight scenes started happening, I think that's where I think the fight scenes could have been better in my opinion. But I couldn't help but like some of the scenes were not so great. Some of the graphics were so fake. They were very I couldn't help but they were very noticeable. But other than that, it was still good. It was still enjoyable to watch and everything. The second highlight, I wrote it down. Allison and Victor, their argument with each other. Oh my God, that argument was so intense and it was so sad to watch because, uh, there every time it was something bad happened, something emotional and bad has to happen between Victor and Allison. For example, season 1, when Allison tried to convince Vanya that her boyfriend was dangerous and he is not who he seems to be, and then Vanya would slit Allison's throat. I thought that was horrible. And then when Allison went to go see Vanya perform at her orchestra, and they looked and they smiled at each other, I was all like, oh, you see, that's sisterhood right there. I mean, she forgives her and everything. And Allison was always backing up Vanya. Even when Luther was all like, no, Vanya, we have to put her away. She's dangerous. Allison was always there to protect her. And she even backed her up, was like, it was an accident what she did to me when she couldn't speak. She even wrote it down when she's like, let her go. Let her out of that box where they locked her up because they thought she was dangerous and she was meant to destroy the world. And then season 2, when they were able to see each other again and they hugged each other, it was all like, oh, it was so beautiful. But then this season, just seeing them slowly drift apart and just completely tear apart was so sad for me and so intense, especially when they had that argument. It was very sad to watch. I was just like, oh my God, this is so hurtful, so heartbreaking to watch. And then when Ben was all like, this was so good, I did not know you guys fight like us. And then Diego's like, no, man, we don't fight like this. He knew, they all knew, because that's not how they are. That's not how they're supposed to be. And it was so sad to watch. But it was very intense. I think they both, Elliot Page and the actress who played Allison, they did a terrific job in that scene. I think that was just one of the highlights. It had to be a highlight. Then the third highlight was the wedding. I thought the wedding was so nice and so sad. Everybody was coming together except that, Allison and Victor moment. But seeing Luther happy and I don't know, it did make me tear up when he found someone and they were sharing their vows and everything and putting the ring on each other. It was so beautiful. I was like Klaus when he's all like, I now pronounce you husband and wife. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then when they had their dance, their parties and everything, it was so nice. And Ben was also, that's when he was also like letting his guard down. But then after that, it was like, back to asshole Ben. That was like a nice I think I liked that episode, the wedding episode, because also when the dad came in, and that's when I thought the dad was good, but turns out he was just using Klaus. It was all just an act. And then the fourth highlight was Klaus and the dad bonding. That has to be one of my favorite scenes, when the Klaus and Mr. Hargreaves were bonding. I really liked it because I felt like it was, not only did it help Klaus face his demons and become a stronger superhero, but he was able to bond with his dad, that he didn't get to have that moment back at his own original timeline. But it was very nice, and it was also nice to see Mr. Hargreaves, the dad, see his good side and how he was trying to help his son just get good. Get good. I think that's pretty much it. I can't think of other highlights to think about, but overall and conclusion, I think this season was still very enjoyable to watch. The story itself was very good, but the ending, I just felt like it wasn't a very good ending. It was not a strong ending like it was of the first 2 seasons, where it leaves you like, oh, I can't wait to see the next season, because that's how it was. the ending of each season in season 1, you know, they get teleported before the world ended to a different timeline, and you're like, oh, I want to know what happened. Where did they go? And then season 2, when they got teleported to a different timeline and they met, they're in a different universe where it's the Sparrow Academy. You're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? I want to see them go. You know, there's gonna be a clash between these two families. So we were very excited. But this one leaves you like, it left me like with unanswered questions. It left me like unsatisfied. Everybody didn't have their powers anymore. Everybody just walked off because they're like, oh, what do we do now? Oh, we live our own lives. That's it. I was like, wait, slow it down a bit. Like, this ending doesn't give you too much closure. It doesn't explain. It just felt rushed to me. It really did felt rushed, where they're like, oh, we go move on and live our own lives. Oh, bye-bye. And Luther went to go look for his wife. I hope she's okay. And Five and Victor just looked at each other and then they just walk away. And I'm like, wait, what? And then the dad is still alive with his wife, Mr. Hargreaves with Mrs. Hargreaves or whatever. So I'm just like, I don't understand what happened. I guess they kind of saved it. Like, that's what I'm saying. They kind of saved the world, but they didn't. So it leaves you with a lot of unanswered questions. Is it a fake universe? Is it a different universe? I mean, they did say this is going to like fix the universe or create a new one. I don't know. But I don't know. We just have to wait. We have to wait for season 4, which I'm kind of nervous because they have yet to announce, oh, season 4 has been confirmed for the Umbrella Academy. Usually they always say that before the premiere of any season for any show. You know, every time a season is about to premiere for a show, most of the time they always say, oh, season 2 is confirmed or season 3's been confirmed. And, you know, this season hasn't even premiered yet and it's already it's been renewed for another season. This one, they haven't said anything yet. And it was kind of like the way it was in season 2. After season 2, it took them a while to announce, oh, season 3 for the Umbrella Academy. Now this one, I'm like, how long are they going to take? Are they even going to have another one? I guess it depends on how much viewers it gets, which I hope it gets a lot of views because like I said, I think it's still an enjoyable season to watch. It's not the best, but it's still good to watch. It was very fun. I just didn't like the ending though. I thought the ending just wasn't good. Wasn't good enough. But oh well, we have to wait to season 4 to see what happens. Let's hope we get a season 4. Share your thoughts down below, guys, in the comment section. I really would like to know what your thoughts are. Who was your favorite character? My favorite character was Victor. And from the Sparrow Academy, Faye. I liked Faye. Ben was the worst. I'm sorry, Ben. The actor better do something. They better do something with his character to redeem him. Klaus was also my favorite. And Allison, such a downfall, man. I wonder what's going to happen. She was my favorite from the first 2, and now she's like in the bottom of my list because of the different turn that she took. Well, we have to wait and see. Y'all take good care of yourselves. Please share your thoughts, like I said, and I'll see you all in the next video, which will be most probably about Stranger Things 2, season 4, part 2. It's coming out soon, guys, next week. Right now, I'm making this video on June 20-something. This is like 2 days after the premiere of Umbrella Academy, season 3. But yeah, thank you once again. If you watched this whole video, it's like almost an hour long. If you watched this whole video and heard my thoughts about it, thank you very much. I appreciate the love and support. Thank you very, very much. I deeply appreciate it. I thank you for your time and listening to my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please drop a like, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, have a good day, or if you're about to go to sleep, have a good night's sleep. Stay safe. See y'all next time.